It's just that now in our binomial, we're going to have two different variables. So we're still going to follow the same method. We're still using FOIL. So if you want to write it out so you can line up your parts, you can. But you just got to watch your variables. So like on the first term, x times 5x times x, this is still going to give me 5x squared. But now when I go to my outer term, I'm doing this 5x times this negative y. So this becomes minus 5xy. So you put both variables to show the product. The inner would be 4y times x. That's going to give me plus 4xy. I put the x first because you got to put it in alphabetical order when listing your variables. And then we have 4y times this minus y. It's like a minus 1 or negative 1, so this would be negative 4y squared. So when we combine like terms, we're still going to have like terms right here with this minus 5xy and plus 4xy. So this would be 5x squared minus an xy minus 4y squared. Okay. So you can still do 11 through 14 using the FOIL method. Now, when you get to 15 through 18, you just got to understand what it means. Okay, and I'm going to review that with you. But I have some notes up here when you're ready to indicate what you have to do when I see a binomial with an exponent of 2. Okay, there is a shortcut that I'm going to show you and I'll do with you. But I want you to get to at least 15 for us to check in class, and we can do our second part. All right, so let's check your answers on 11 through 14. You're still using the FOIL method. We should end up with on 12, 2a squared minus 3ab, then minus 20b squared. On 13, actually turns into a binomial because the RS's cancel. This final answer is 4r squared minus s squared. And then on 14, we should get 28c squared minus cd, or you could have put 1 cd, and then minus 2d squared. Yes. All right, so let me walk you through 15 through 18. There is a shortcut, but you got to understand that anytime I see a grouping symbol like such, and the exponent outside that symbol, it means you have two factors of that group. So this means you have p minus 7 and then another p minus 7. And we're multiplying them. Now, you can do it just by doing FOIL. It'll get you to the same answer. The shortcut is you look at the first term, which is your p. This is your first term, and you square that. If I square that first term, that would be p squared. Okay? Then, step 2 says right here, multiply the first and second term. Here's your first, here's your second. If I multiply those two numbers together, these two terms together, that's a negative 7p. And then we're going to double that, so that becomes a negative 14p. And then square the second term. The second term is the 7. If I square a negative 7 squared is a positive 49. So there's the answer. Anytime I square a binomial, I'm going to square the first term. So here it is on 17. If I square 2m squared, That becomes 4m squared, because you got to square the number and the letter. Then if I take these two terms and double them, multiply them together, 2m times minus 5 is a negative 10. But if I double it, it becomes a negative 20m. Now the last thing I just need to do is square the last term. If I square that, it becomes positive 25. And there's our answer. Or you can just do FOIL. FOIL means you just have two factors of the grouping. So if I change this to a plus 3b times a plus 3b, and then we're just going back to FOIL. First term, a squared. Outer term, what is it, plus 3ab. Inner term, plus 3ab. Last term, plus 9b squared. So it gets you to the same answer. This ends up becoming a squared plus 6ab plus 9b squared. Okay. All right, now a binomial times a trinomial. Okay, the last section, let me show it to you, means you're just going to distribute each term and combine like terms at the end. So you start with your first term, which is the x. Do this with me. We're going to distribute to each term. That means x times x squared. What would that give us? X to the third power, x cubed. Then you do x times 3x. That would be plus 3x squared. Then x times minus 6. That gives me negative 6x. Now I go to the next term. The next term is the 4. I'm now distributing that to each term. 4 times x squared. That gives me 4x squared. 4 times 3x plus 12x. And then 4 times the negative 6, negative 24. Now we're just combining like terms. I start with the highest exponent. That's the x to the third. Then I have a 3x squared and a 4x squared. That becomes 7x squared minus 6x plus 12x gives me plus 6x. And then we're left with minus 24. So tonight, I want you to try to use the distributing each term, complete these problems, okay? Now, our shaded area is just like the shaded on our yellow binomial, yellow polynomial notes. So it's the same thing. To get the shaded, you have to take the large area, subtract it from the small area. Okay, the method has not changed. So what I want you to do tonight is to finish the notes. Okay? All right, let's pack it up.